I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
I'm Reg3.
I started
and
my
recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am also recording.
I'm also rap recording. It's a little bit different.
I'm also sound clouding. Whatever that means.
We're sound clouding right now.
I'm pod bucketing. You guys remember that pod bucket?
Okay, guys, welcome to the month of...
Wait, no, we have to do the countdown.
Because it's tradition.
Because we're on
we have
3 separate lines now.
Okay, whatever.
3,
2, 1. Oh my gosh. I can't see. It's terrible. It's awful. It's horrible October.
Hi, I'm Reggie. Do you
Hi,
want
Reggie.
Do you want a console with 149 physical games?
I prefer more.
Too bad. Here's the Wii U.
Is that all there was? 149 physical
It's 140 something. It might be 146. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, physical games. Yeah, it's not much. It's like 140 something. I know that for sure.
But they're all gems, right?
If you ask a YouTuber in the years of 2013 to 2016, then yes.
I still see Wii U hidden gem things. Like, get these Wii U gems before they're stupidly expensive. And it's like
thereby making them stupidly expensive.
it's like Avengers Battle for Earth is a fun mobile style game for your Wii U. It's like, I'm not buying that.
The Wii U. Welcome to the month of horror. This thing sucked.
Okay, the Wii U. Let's not say it sucked. The Wii U was disappointing.
The Wii U blew expectations.
Oh.
Okay, we lumped this one in this month because, like, the Wii U is perceived as horrible, as awful, as, like, what the hell was Nintendo thinking? And I think even Nintendo sees it that way. So it's kind of a natural fit for this month. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I agree.
I think they see it as a, it's like their biggest failure. Maybe not like, I don't know, maybe not their biggest. Maybe the Virtual Boy would be their biggest, but it's definitely like their biggest home console failure,
I think everybody has to have some major failure to turn themselves around. And I think the Wii U is like a huge lesson learned for Nintendo. So I think it's definitely worth looking at as a historical landmark. Especially considering the Switch's success right now.
This console had problems, for sure. But it also had redeeming qualities. Hopefully we'll kind of touch on both today. I was thinking a good way to kind of open up here is just talk about your history with the Wii U. Anyone want to kick it off?
Well, it's funny you ask, Teddy. I got the Wii U near launch. Well, this is a little while after launch. But
Wait, you went to NASA when they were launching? I remember, yes, back in the days when the moon was the new frontier in the Cold War.
I couldn't get a sentence in without you starting this.
Continue.
Okay, I got a Wii U near launch. I was super excited because I really enjoyed the Wii console. I mean, it wasn't the most powerful thing, but it had some fun Nintendo games and some fun third-party games. So I got the Wii U, and the Wii U was my primary console for about 3 years, and then I moved on and never looked back.
Yeah. I had a PS4 first, and at a certain point I realized that I never got a Wii. So I was like, because I didn't like the motion stuff, and I was excited that the Wii U didn't have that, or at least didn't require that. And I liked the look of the controller, the big bulky thing, and finally I saw a copy of it that was packaged with Zelda Wind Waker, so I was excited to get that again.
That's the same
And,
console I got, man.
Nice. So I jumped on that. I actually have it in the other room, and I was shocked at how little content there was for it. Yeah. How about you, Teddy?
Oh man, I got a whole autobiography on this thing. So there I was in college trying to get back into gaming. I didn't have a console. I had like a DS and Mario Kart DS. And I was like, I want a home console again. And so I went to the Nintendo store and the Wii U was $299. Now, if you're in college and you're like saving every penny, that's not feasible. So I also saw next to it the Wii Mini, and that was $99. And then I found out the Wii Mini was really a dud and could barely do anything except play Wii games. And I didn't have appreciation for that at the time. So I was like kind of bitter towards Nintendo at that time. And I was like, you know what? I don't want a Wii U. Screw you guys. I'll wait for a price drop. Price drop never came. You know,
Yeah.
They had that thing in stores for like, 4 years until like 2016, 2017. And it was still like a good $299. So never was that console really attainable to me until years later. I think 2018, 2019, I saw a video by this guy named Modern Vintage Gamer. And he showed about how you could mod homebrew app onto the console. And I got excited about that. I thought it was cool. I thought you could use that to play GameCube games on it, and that wasn't really how it worked. So I ended up getting one for 2019, and then my girlfriend got me a Switch like a week later, and I barely touched my Wii U after that. But I did not appreciate this console. I didn't appreciate Nintendo at the time, and I really didn't appreciate YouTubers trying to hype this thing up. I think they overstated what it was worth, what the console library was worth, and what this thing could do. But that doesn't mean I don't like having it right now. I'm actually starting to have appreciation for it.
I think you're wrong on that on some front, though. I think the console library is good. I think it's the fact that the console library has also moved to the Switch that makes it irrelevant.
I think the console library is pretty weak.
Do you?
Oh,
I'm with
yeah.
Spencer. So 2 verse 3.
Why?
Right.
Tell me why.
You're off the
tell
island.
Me, tell
You're
me.
off the island.
Tell me why.
It's really good if you like Nintendo games.
Well, yes, that's why you buy a Nintendo console in the first place.
But that's shorting all the really great third-party games it could have had.
You're right.
And it definitely didn't have those. So I think the library, if you're comparing it to its contemporaries, PS4 and Xbox One, its library was very, very shallow. It was like,
And
like
on
a-
the
yeah.
topic of, sorry Spencer, if I cut
Go
you
ahead.
off, if you want to
No, go
continue. I even on the topic of first-party titles, I think they pale by comparison to predecessors in their consecutive libraries. Mario 3D platformers were stronger. Okay, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is good. You know, I'll give it that. I haven't played it. I played a little bit of it, but I think there was no pull for me to get this console for any one game. There wasn't anything I saw that was so vastly different and like something that I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I have to get that, until possibly Mario Maker, if that appealed to me, and it didn't.
I think a lot of their legacy content had its strongest, some of the strongest entries, like Smash Bros, which is basically the Switch game now. You know, it's a little bit of like updated. The Mario Kart 8 is the best Mario Kart game. I fucking love that game. It's got so much content. You know, like I said, Mario Maker was very unique. Mario Maker 2 feels off without having the gamepad there to actually construct levels. It's very odd. Pikmin 3 is a fucking masterpiece, and I'm glad that's coming to Switch soon. I bought Pikmin 3 before I had a Wii U because I wanted to go ahead and get a copy of it. Yeah, I was so excited for that game, and that game did not disappoint. And while the console didn't have an original Zelda game per se, the Zelda remasters, more Wind Waker than Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was just like a upscaling, but Wind Waker is notable for being like such a good like graphical and like gameplay improvement over the original version. That also kind of makes it worth like owning the console if you really like Zelda.
It's interesting. You said it doesn't have its own original Zelda. I guess do you define Breath of the Wild as basically a Switch game then?
Kinda. I mean, that's what they used it for, was to hype up the Switch, right? It was like the Switch launch title. It just
I agree
I feel
with
like
that.
they just threw it on the Wii U because like they had been promising a Zelda on Wii U for 3 years, and then they were like, oh, we still gotta do that. So so it doesn't feel like a Wii U Zelda game, no.
I think a lot of these games and just the Wii U identity at the time started to fall into this trap of being separated from the game. You talked about Smash Brothers. A big thing was paying for DLC characters as they were getting released and announced. So in addition to that, you have amiibos. A lot of the content was tied behind amiibos. So I personally thought that like Nintendo's identity was getting confused. I think that's something they've rectified since they've come to Switch. Where do you guys stand on that?
Nah, amiibos don't do shit. They're useless.
It doesn't matter because they push the narrative that you should get the amiibos to enhance your game. Twilight Princess was a game where they said you can double your challenge by having the Ganondorf amiibo. You can get more arrows by having Link amiibo.
Well, Twilight Princess came with was packaged with the Wolf Link amiibo, which is the only one that's actually useful because it adds an extra dungeon. But most games, especially on the Wii U time, like that, like really added something with the amiibos. Most of them came packaged with it, or at least one to give you that like little bit.
Maybe, but the Smash Bros thing was like
It doesn't do anything
total
though.
cash.
It doesn't do anything though.
He's not talking about amiibos for Smash, are you?
Didn't they have like a bunch of them that you could get you like a little art thing or something like that?
It wasn't much.
All the Smash amiibos do, I believe, is just let you train them to like, use them in battle. It's really dumb. Like it didn't add anything.
Right. But what Teddy's saying is that it was incentivized. Like that was the narrative they were trying to push. And I know that the content was bad. That's another criticism, really.
Yeah.
Is that it's just like it was like buy these things that we're attaching to the console. Oh yeah, and they're actually completely garbage.
I guess.
but like it's for kids. That's the problem. Like we're adults and we're jaded. We're like, what? That's stupid. But kids are like, oh, it's a toy and it plays with my game. Awesome. Oh, and then they get it and it's like the worst thing ever.
The saddest thing to me was knowing that the amiibos were garbage as far as usefulness, and that they were more exciting to me than the content library for the Wii U.
Wow.
Man, I'm somewhere in between you and Ted, you and Alex. Like, I'm somewhere in the middle of that.
I think the Wii U still had a pretty strong library of first-party Nintendo games. I just think the fact that they brought them over or enhanced them onto the Switch just makes it worthless, man. It just makes the Wii U itself kind of worthless now. Like, I mean, if you would have asked me, because there was a point, Teddy, in our friendship where I was like, man, the Wii U's cool. Like, you should probably get one. And you were like, I don't know. And a lot of it was like due to like Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros. I played a lot of Hyrule Warriors. I played a lot of Mario Maker. I played a lot of Splatoon. But like a lot of those games came over to Switch or had sequels on Switch that like enhance everything. And it's like, man, it's just there's no point. It's just like there's nothing original left onto the Switch that like you can't. Sorry, not Switch, but on the Wii U that that you can't get on the Switch.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings on that because sometimes I'm actually more encouraged to get the Wii U version because it's like $10.
Yeah, it's cheap. That's the best thing about the Wii U.
And then they're bringing these same games back and then charging the premium. It's like a total cash cow. I don't know if that's something they planned from the beginning. Like, we'll release these now and then bring them over later.
It's just basic business. They've got their user base like tripled at least.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not? Like there's at least half of the people that are playing the Switch have never played these games before. So might as well just
It's
sell
smart.
it again.
It's smart. I mean, how many people bought fucking what is it? Tokyo Mirage FE or whatever. So.
Oh my God, I'm about to talk about that in a little bit.
Are you? Like I'm really surprised they haven't brought over Xenoblade Chronicles X or whatever, because that's
I am
I'm
too.
not surprised. No, but who's clamoring for that?
Xenoblade fans.
No, because Xenoblade fans prefer the first game. They prefer Xenogears. The second game is like a kind of a weird offshoot, but that intermediary game, Chronicles, that was like just kind of a. What was the narrative to that game? There wasn't.
Well,
one.
You mean Xenoblade Chronicles was the first one.
Yeah, X was the Wii U game.
X, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for the correction.
X is the weird one, and yeah, it was to me it's a complete disaster. It has its fans, but my God, it's such a departure from everything that was great.
Well,
about the first one.
I think it was notable for being one of the only real RPGs for the Wii U. That was like an area the Wii U was lacking in hardcore was the RPG. That and Tokyo Mirage Session. Outside those two, like I can't really name any. I guess like Deus Ex had a Wii U port and Mass Effect 3, I guess, but like there's really not a lot of RPGs on the Wii U to play.
Here's my thing about like the bringing back the Wii U games onto Switch. We all three of us own PS4s, and the most I've spent on a PS4 game is maybe $40, and I own quite a sizable amount. I usually get them like 20, 30. I got a great compilation yesterday for 30. But these games that are on the Wii U are getting maybe an extra added level, a dungeon, something, and then they're getting charged full retail price. It's not like it's scummy.
No, it is. Like I'm not like as much as I enjoy Tropical Freeze, I haven't bought the Switch version just because all it adds is like Funky Kong. And and then it's $60. The Wii U version of Tropical Freeze at one point got marked down to $20 for the Selects line. So we're just gonna act like it was never $20. It's just $60 again, And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like every once in a while there'll be one that comes out that maybe adds something, or like it'll be like a combination. I even bought New Super Mario Bros. U that came with Luigi U just because it came with Luigi U on the Switch version, and it added some extra characters and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's worth actually buying and playing. But like, no, I'm not going to pay $60 again just for like a character or like a one level or something,
Can we talk about the controller?
Oh,
The tablet?
This thing
Whatever
was
it is.
underutilized. I can name like maybe 5 games that like actually use it in like a interesting way. And outside of that, man, that Wii U tablet was just pointless.
Hey, 5 out of 140 is a solid 3% of the library.
Like,
no, I'll tell you what though. Okay, so like I have a very like conserving mindset. So like I think about things like how much electricity am I using, and that's part of the reason why this whole console never appealed to me. Because I used to be like moving place to place. I didn't have a place for this thing. It's got a sensor bar, a tablet, and 2 outlets, and then the HDMI cable that goes in the back of the TV. It's a clusterfuck. And so that really threw me off. But since I've owned it, and since I have a media center where I can kind of store it and then like turn it on and play it, that plugs into the TV kind of nicely, I've actually found that I enjoy like putting on like a long form YouTube video on the TV or news or whatever it is, and just turning the console to tablet mode. I do wish that more of the physical library took advantage of that kind of like separate kind of gameplay. For some reason, I can't seem to figure out how to play games that don't need the tablet, like just in tablet mode. But it's, I guess, another story.
Like a lot of them hide it in the options and stuff too, in order to like access that. But I agree. I used to do it all the time. That's how when I originally was playing the Wii U, that's how I played a lot of Hyrule Warriors. I put like 80 something hours into that game just by putting on YouTube videos or Netflix or whatever, and just hacking away while playing on the gamepad.
I think Nintendo noticed that.
Yeah,
and that's why your Switch is the way it is.
Yeah, that's why you have the Switch, and it was smart. I mean, and that was probably like what threw me off when I first saw the Switch. I was like, the tablet again, and then it was like, no, this actually is the console, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about the Wii U tampon, Spencer?
I'm with you guys. I think certain games really capitalized on it. If I remember, I think Pikmin 3 did a great job. It's great to have like your inventory or your data on the tablet part, and get all that like info out so your UI can be just fun on the TV. I really like that concept. I think Pikmin, if I remember correctly, did that pretty well. In a game that I'll be talking about later, Tokyo Mirage Sessions handled this better than any of them. It was basically your phone. and like you would get text messages on it, and like you'd be scrolling, and that's how you got delivered like missions and how to do things. So I adored the way that they did that. It actually felt like natural that you had like a side thing that had all that on it. But if you could, and then of course Mario Maker did a great job with
Mario
that.
Maker.
But it was kind of built for that.
Nintendo Land, I think, was a great one. I mean, that's like, that was like the launch game. It was kind of like the Wii Sports of the Wii U, but it was like actually pretty varied and fun for like single player and multiplayer, and took advantage of the tablet pretty well. Other games I could think of off the top of my head, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Just you play using the touchscreen. That's interesting, because you gotta draw lines for Kirby to like roll on. That was fun. Mario Maker, of course. And another one that I've brought up. I don't know why this is like a good example of the Wii U done right, but like Deus Ex: Human Revolution Director's Cut, they took advantage of that tablet controller. Like,
really?
Yeah, you use it for the map, you use it for your upgrades, you use it for using different abilities, for hacking, you use it for a lot of things during that game, and it actually, like, I think it helps the immersion, and that's actually my preferred way to play that title, and that's like one of the few examples of a third party game brought over to the Wii U right. It's like, it's not just a lazy port job or anything like that. It's just like they actually like said, what can we do with this tablet, and implemented it into their game that didn't have tablet support originally. And I think Zombie U is another one that was pretty good at too.
There's actually quite a few examples, and I don't own too many physical games, but I used to watch like the CGR Undertow Wii U reviews, and so I know like Resident Evil Revelations is a game that takes advantage of it. Recently I started Lego City, and it's kind of like Spencer was saying, you tap on the tablet and then suddenly like one of the other persons at the police department is like, contacting you. So I don't know that it went as underutilized as people say. Maybe it wasn't used in every game, but that's a decent list of examples right there.
Yeah, but I think towards the end of the lifetime it was. Like, just take, for example, Breath of the Wild. It's nothing. There's nothing on that screen. And that's a Nintendo title, It's just like, so it's like even Nintendo was like, okay, fuck this thing. So,
Well, we haven't really spoken about the title that uses it the most.
What's that?
And that's because it's for unfortunate reasons.
What's that?
It's a little game called Star Fox.
Oh, yep.
And you're right when we were talking about it, and you said that Star Fox is a good game with a very unfortunate control.
It is.
Scheme. And you're right, but we differ in that. I think that makes it a bad game. You kind of defend a little more, but that is the problem. Is the Wii U? The Wii U is the problem there.
Yeah, well, exactly. If they remastered,
Wii U is a problem.
Yeah, see, if they remastered that game for Switch with like normal controls and didn't change
fine.
the level design, it'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I got to be honest here. If you have to use that tablet in weird ways, it's just cumbersome.
For sure.
It is not comfortable on the hands. I enjoyed Rayman Legends for what it was, but those levels where it had the Wii U exclusive stuff were my least favorite. I hated that.
Yeah.
And, I don't mind the unit. I think it would work great for 2D platformers. I've actually, and we could talk about this in a little bit, but dabbled into like some virtual console games and enjoyed using the D-pad because it's synchronous with the A, B, X, Y buttons. And if you compare that even to the Switch, the standard Switch with the Joy-Cons attached, those are adult-sized buttons.
I'll tell you what.
They're comfortable. But if you combine like thumbstick and the buttons, it's very lopsided. So I haven't exactly formatted how I enjoy playing the most for games like Star Fox even.
I will say that Mario Party 10, while it's another Mario Party game, they actually do also take advantage of it with they had a Bowser mode where the 4 players use Wiimotes and like use a TV screen, and then one person uses the gamepad and they play as Bowser, and they have to chase the other characters through the board, and it's actually pretty fun because the mini games all take advantage of that. That the people on the TV screen are being fucked with by the person on the gamepad. And it's like a really fun Mario Party mode that like took advantage of this idea of having one person, with all the control, the characters on the TV screen. And it's pretty unique and fun. I also liked Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I think that's a really controversial opinion because people don't like that game because it wasn't a main title. But that game is actually uses the amiibos in a like sense that like it actually uses them in the gameplay and not just like gives you a costume or just something stupid. And that one also takes advantage of like the fact that you can play 4-player with that game with just one gamepad, and that is your controller. Like you kind of pass it around. I think it's another cool example. I don't want to shit on the Wii U the whole time though. We should probably talk about like a few things that it did right. And Teddy mentioned one earlier. It's the Virtual Console.
Wasn't that on the 3DS first?
It was on the Wii first, but
Oh, it was on the Wii. It was on the Wii first. Okay.
yeah,
Here's a funny thing about how that's actually not done right. Is
it's
you go on the eShop and they have ads for 3DS games on there.
No, not the eShop. I'm just talking about the Virtual Console itself.
I know. When you go on the Wii U eShop to the Virtual Console, they're promoting 3DS games. And just in general, I wonder what they're doing. Like, I guess they're trying to cross promote, but it just reminds me of like this whole system of like Nintendo not understanding what they had in front of them.
Well, the reason they did that is because you could add money to the Wii U and use it on the 3DS and stuff. But at one point on the Wii, they didn't have that that system going on. So if you had a Wii and you lost all your data and you moved to another Wii console or something, your stuff was fucked. Like it's gone. You had to rebuy all that stuff. So that's kind of like the interconnectivity of the Wii U and the 3DS. It's kind of the idea behind it. It's like, it's like one account.
I actually had to sack my eShop when I tried modding my system, and I actually came to regret it when I found out that like modding it like just kind of flubbed my system. Because there's actually some good games on there. There's a huge library of like console libraries from Game Boy Advance to Nintendo 64, TurboGrafx 16. Oddly enough. You have to look for it in a different way than like by console though. And then they have like NES and SNES, but I think the Switch has kind of outdated that. They've also got some legacy Wii titles, all of which are affordable. I think that's a great idea. I do find that the Virtual Console, while it's good as it is now, seems to be missing something.
It's better than what we got now.
It's missing the Wii Virtual Console shop because that got taken down 2 years back.
Yeah, the Wii Virtual Console had a lot more. Maybe not like it didn't have like the Game Boy Advance and the DS games, but like it had a lot more in terms of variety and like the list of games. But I still think the Wii U Virtual Console was good. They still brought out some interesting titles and. Definitely better than what Nintendo gives us now, where they give us the streaming services and they're like, "Oh, here's a game every 5 months," So it's still better than what they have as give us on Switch. I think that's a good positive for the Wii U.
I like that the Game Boy Advance games were on there. Game Boy Advance when they do like a Game Boy Advance Mini or something like that, that's gonna be freaking fire. I love that console or handheld, whatever you want to call it.
While I agree with you guys about like the selection being better on Wii U, I don't know that I can necessarily agree as far as services go. I think the idea of NES Online and SNES Online as a service are actually decent. For $20, you get an unlimited library of whatever games Nintendo gives you. Granted, it's not that much right now of what they give you. But look at what we've done on this channel, the Button Mappers. We've done 3 or 4 SNES games up to this point. To me, that quantifies the value. 3 SNES games on the Wii U, maybe like $20, $24, I don't know.
Yeah, but it seems like they just update it a whole lot less. I feel like if they just charged us for these games separately, they'd be updating it more often because they'd be making more money off of it.
Well, I got an SNES Mini
that.
right before before I got a Switch, and I don't think they even had SNES Online at that point. But the second I got the SNES Mini, they came out with the SNES Online like maybe a few months later. And to be honest, I barely busted out my SNES Mini since then. So I personally happen to enjoy that accessibility on the Switch, and that I don't have to just dabble in the eShop being like, should I get Super Metroid or should I get Super Mario World? I don't know.
I can see financially why they do the Switch one the way that they do. That's very clear. Subscription services make you way more money than on demand. But what I liked about the Wii U part was that the games that they had on sale were way better than the games they offer for free on the Switch.
Yeah,
Less like volleyball. What the hell? I don't know what these games are, and more like Minish Cap, Superstar Saga, like Zelda, like actual games that I'd want. That'd be like, oh, cool, let me go grab that. I remember playing that, or I never got to play that. Like, let's do that. Instead, on the Switch, I end up getting who knows what games I don't even think were released in America.
Yeah,
like
they
just
give
weird.
us oh my god, the NES service on Switch lately has been like, oh, you guys want a good game? Well, here's Immortals. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? This is what I asked for.
Yeah.
I think what that kind of neglects is the fact that the Switch eShop exists, and you still can get like compilations from these companies.
Yeah,
you
but
can
you
get
gotta-
the Mega Man, the Contra, the Castlevania compilations, etc.
Yeah, but-
Yeah, they don't have Minish Cap. That's a hidden gem for the Wii
But
U.
if I just want to play Mega Man 3, I gotta pay the $20-$30 for the compilation. It's just instead of just paying the $5 for Mega Man 3.
Yeah, well, and what you put in there is also indicative of something. Those are all third parties, so that's up to the third party if they want to just make that. But Nintendo, we know that Nintendo has the library,
Yeah.
and they're literally just withholding it.
One of the biggest releases on the Wii U, Virtual Console wise, was Earthbound, and it's still tied to the Wii U. They haven't brought that over to the Super Nintendo service for some fucking reason. I don't know why. And they only have Country 1. Like, you can still get the other two countries on the Wii U. I would rather just buy the game separately because at least
Yeah,
then,
me
like,
too.
I feel like I could just buy what I wanted.
That's the thing. I would keep my subscription service, and just and buy them as they come. Like,
Yeah.
they're just like $5, $3. Like, that's not gonna dissuade me. So like, they can do both. I'll totally buy a game. And it wouldn't hurt my feelings if it like a year later popped up on the service. It's like, oh well.
I also don't think Earthbound is going away. I think that probably will come eventually before the life cycle is up. They have it on the SNES Mini, and they've brought almost the entire SNES Mini library over to Switch. SNES Mini didn't have Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I mean,
Yeah, no. I mean, the fact that like the only reason I wanted a Mini was for Star Fox 2, and then they brought it over to the Switch, and I was like, well, never mind. No reason to buy that now.
Yeah.
But I think another thing that the Wii U does right that I think people kind of overlook is like, yeah, the Wii U library itself is very small, but if you're looking for an easy and okay, Teddy's going to fight me on this part on the easy part, but if you're looking for a convenient and one like all in one console way to play Wii games, there's a vast library. You can just buy it to play mainly Wii games. They're cheap. There's a vast library of Wii titles. It goes through HDMI to your TV, and I think that's a fantastic way. I know Teddy's going to argue with the whole like having to navigate to another menu to play Wii games, and I agree with that. I think it is clunky, but it's doable.
thanks for narrating my thoughts.
Was I wrong? Was it not coming?
It's fine. I'm not offended.
Okay. Which, I mean, it is clunky. The fact that you have to like navigate through the Wii U to the Wii menu to play Wii games is kind of awkward. It'd be like if you like loaded up the PS1, sorry, the PS2, put in a PS1 disc, and then had to like navigate to a PS1 menu to start up the game. Like, why can't the Wii U just start up the Wii game? It doesn't make any sense. But the fact that you still have access to the giant Wii library, I think, is a selling point.
I don't have any more positive things to say. Is that unless
We all
you-
know how Spencer feels about the Wii.
Yeah, fuck that thing. I do want to bring up this is sort of the Wii U, but it's also more just Nintendo. The Wii U is at a time when Nintendo, to me, was at its absolute worst in terms of PR, in terms of giving customers what they want.
Oh my gosh.
And you kind of, if you just look at the Wii U as a console, you kind of miss it, but you see little hints of it. But during the Wii U's life cycle, Nintendo was a freaking demon.
No, it was 2015, 2016. Nintendo was tone deaf. They were they were like, oh, you guys want another Chibi Robo? Here's Ziplash. Oh, you guys want a Pikmin? Here's Hey Pikmin. Oh, Metroid fans, here's Federation Force. It's like no. It's like, oh, here's Amiibo Festival. It's what you wanted, right? Here's Mario Tennis Ultra Smash with one mode. It's like no, this isn't. None of this is what we asked for. So yeah.
And if you compare it to, again, its contemporaries, PS4 and Xbox One, which are going on at the exact same time, you have the ability to play online with people almost seamlessly. Nintendo, I understand in some reasons why, but it doesn't have that. It has friend codes, which they still do to this day. It has these. You can't really stream from the console. It's incredibly restrictive, and on YouTube, they're pretty much impossible to work with.
I think comparing the Wii U to like the PS4 is a little unfair though, because the Wii U is basically like a souped-up PS3,
But that's Nintendo's choice.
Yeah, that was their choice, but it came out. It came out with the PS4 came out 2014. The Wii U came out 2013, right? 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. So I don't know.
They could have had a better console.
They could have. You're definitely right, and I think the Switch is indicative of that. I think they realized, like, oh shit, we should probably like
innovate.
Yeah, make innovative, interesting hardware instead of just being like, oh, here's a screen on your controller.
At the same time, if you look at the transgression from Wii U to Switch, they still have obstinately prevented a lot of those things that modern gamers ask for. They've done it in their own way by listening to fan demand for certain things. And I even think just the idea of like being able to play it portably, yeah, that's great. I don't know.
Another big problem with the Wii U. Shit, I just had it. Ah, fuck. I swear I just had it.
The name.
Okay, that's it.
What the
branding.
fuck is a Wii U?
That's what I was going to say. Is their branding, and which again I think they learned a lot in the Switch. But the Wii U, I freaking actually just before this recording, I talked to my girlfriend. I said we're gonna do a thing on the Wii U, and she's like, "You mean like the thing with the one remote that you play around with?" I'm like, No. That's the Wii. I mean the Wii U. She's like, "What the fuck is the Wii U?" And she knew what it was. It just took her a second to connect the dots that is like the Wii 2 or the second edition of the Wii. Like it's very confusing.
Yeah, they were trying to bank so hard because like the Wii did so good in terms of console sales. They were trying to bank so hard on that, and it was like the Wii U branding was so confusing because it came out and the Wii U they were like, okay, so we're getting the hardcore audience back, Assassin's Creed 3, Mass Effect 3, Zombie U, Batman Arkham City, oh fuck yeah. And then like as soon as the thing started tanking, all the third parties jumped ship, and then Nintendo flipped the script and they were like, it's the family console, and all the commercials all the commercials had kids being like, this is why you should buy a Wii U, parents, and it's like, okay, so are you gonna bring the hardcore audience back, or are you gonna appeal to the casuals like you did with the Wii? Like,
and then they announced Amiibos, and you said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was just a very confusing time with the branding, and again, nobody knew what the fuck a Wii U was.
We'll make this quick.
My time's dropping fast, people.
Pew!
Time to upgrade to Wii U.
With Wii U, we can play Super Mario 3D World.
Find secrets with the Wii U gamepad.
And did we mention togetherness?
Just check out the simulation.
Whoa.
I look good.
Look at that. Yeah, I look like I've been upgraded.
Get the gift of family when you upgrade to Wii U for $299.99. Game ready to eat.
That's a real problem when you're trying to sell games for a console that people don't know exist.
I think that's something that they've done really well with the Switch, is that I haven't seen too many Switch commercials that are like kids being like, parents, you should buy a Switch. You know, they're mainly like just like normal people, just like, yeah, we're playing a game on the Switch. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just give you guys some like pushback that's going through my head? You know, with the Wii, I think, you know, you look at the Wii and on surface level, it's like this thing sold so many units. It's got 10 games in the millions. Wii Sports was packaged with everything. I don't think the Wii was as strong as it was in its first 2 to 3 years, and it was starting to lose traction. I don't know that the Wii U solved that problem, but I think it provided a stopgap to the Switch, which has inevitably solved that problem.
But they were still trying to bank on that Wii audience, though. That was not there anymore, really, because the Wii had kind of, like you said, it kind of faded towards its later years, which happened. You know, the Wii sales were, you know, like the Wii game sales were down quite a bit.
I guess my thing is, what would they have done instead?
Oh, that's a tough call.
Yeah, they put themselves in such a weird predicament because the Wii was like, even if it did do worse later on, it's still kind of seen as like the family console. You know, it's seen as like, you know, oh, grandma has a Wii to play, you know, Wii Sports and Fit, and oh, but then little Jimmy can play, you know, whatever, and this and that. And so I think from jumping from the Wii to like, you know, if they did like another console that was like a big budget, like hardcore console, I think it would have felt a little jarring in a sense.
Yeah. They painted themselves in a huge corner with the Wii. By being so innovative, you can't really return to being like another GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't. Well, I guess what should they have done instead is the Switch, I guess, and it would have been a product of its time. I'm not sure what it would have been.
I don't know. I mean, because I guess the Wii U games are on Switch. I don't know, but I don't know if the world was ready for the Switch at that time. I wonder.
I think we were ready. I think that's what we thought the Wii U was going to be, in a sense. You know, when they first showed off the tablet and they first showed off the idea of like playing on the couch without the TV and, or, you know, whatever, and it's just kind of like, oh, that's cool, you know, all this other stuff, and then like it all turned out to be really clunky and not as enjoyable as it seemed, and then the Switch. That's why I double taked when the Switch came out, because it was like, oh, you kind of already promised us this, and then the Switch actually did it. You know, it was like, you know, here's an actual like handheld home console. You know,
yeah, it's funny.
Here's something.
Oh, go ahead.
So
sorry.
go ahead. No, yeah.
I was gonna say, it's funny you called the Wii U a stopgap after the Wii. I almost think it's a half step, kind of like what Alex is saying, to the Switch. It's like a weird. It's kind of both in a weird way. It's like if the Switch and the Wii U had a baby, or sorry, if the Switch and the Wii had a baby, it'd be the Wii U. It'd be the Wii U.
Yeah, I can see
that.
that.
What the hell is this like 3-headed monster that they just created? It's really weird.
Here's something that people used to say at the time when the Wii U was alive as a console and getting games. They used to say, you need to support the Wii U if you like Nintendo or if you love Nintendo. And as someone who didn't own the console and who didn't want to own the console, who didn't want to pay top dollar for what I thought was underperforming hardware and products, I couldn't get behind that rationale. What do you guys think about that mentality of, at the time, you needed to support the Wii U to keep Nintendo going?
I supported it, not for that reason. I supported it because I wanted to play, you know, Nintendo games, you know, and I was interested in the library coming out. But I was a Wii, you know, owner a Wii U owner all the way through, and I think that's like, I think people got it maybe like now or like towards the end of the lifetime. And like I know a lot of collectors did. They're like, "Oh, the Wii U was actually really good," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, but you weren't there. You know, you weren't there during the lifetime where like, you know, there was like a 5-month dry up, you know, like period where I'm like, well, I guess I'm playing Lego Batman 3 this month, you know, because there's just nothing else coming out. You know, you weren't there for that shit, you know. So I think as a Wii U owner, it almost hurts a little, like it hurts even more than somebody that just went in like, oh, you know, the Wii U was great and you should support Nintendo because, you know, it's Nintendo. And it's like, no, man. It's like they were clearly like lacking the support they needed.
That and I know that mentality that was definitely going on. You're totally right. And that mentality is so anti-capitalism, so anti everything that makes, games great. It was absolute bullshit, and I was so furious because there were literally like 3-month spells where there was nothing on that console.
Nothing. And then like what did come out was like Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, and it's like, fuck this, man.
It kind of reminded me of like Capcom. Like there was a time, probably like 4-ish years ago, where Capcom literally was basically telling people like, we're going to make games and see if people buy them, and if they do, we'll try to make those more often. So like every game that came out was a test for like 4 years. And it's like that works if all you do is make games. If you have a freaking console that people have paid like $300 for, that's like a really scummy move. And it to me it painted the Wii U in a really, really bad light.
And and what got me was that like the Wii U had, I think the Wii U overall had a good launch. I don't know, I think it did like 3 million in sales, but like the library itself had a pretty good like start. Like the first year of the Wii U, they had some good titles, And it was just like, and then after that, they just kind of like trickled in. It was very slow. It was like nothing really coming.
Dude,
so
slight sidebar on that. Were you worried about that with the Switch?
Yes, that's why I held off for so long. Because like it had such a strong launch, the Switch had such a strong first year. So that was my thing with the Switch was because like I was burned on the Wii U. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait because I don't want to buy it again. Buy a new console again to be like, yeah, this is gonna be great. They have great games out now and great games coming, and then like nothing.
I think I did like a video on the Itch Network, and it was like a little bit after the Switch came out, and it's like, all right, Switch is out. We got Zelda and and that was like the video. That was it. It was like there's nothing else. It's just freaking the Wii U 2.
I think
and then they were a little better, obviously.
Yeah, I think the Switch has been the antithesis of the Wii U, though. I think like there's almost been like too much on the Switch. I've been like, oh my god, like what do I play next? But
I don't know because I mean I hesitate at your mentality of like Alex that you weren't there. Oh no, I was there. I was watching. I was waiting. I was waiting for something, and that something never came. I didn't see anything that was like so groundbreaking, and I had a 3DS at the time. The 3DS got so much love. I think maybe that was something happening too, was Nintendo was devoting resources to 2 consoles at once. So maybe that took away from the Wii U, and they used, they used that push towards 3DS, and they even like learned from the successes of the 3DS and then applied that to the Switch. I'm not sure. But as an owner of a 3DS at the time that the Wii U was relevant, and watching Nintendo Directs, watching the presentations, I actually really liked that presentation with Satoru Iwata, and Reggie and I can't remember the guy's name. The guy Shigeru Miyamoto, where they all like line up in like Muppet form for Star Fox Zero. That was a great showing, and that was a year before Iwata passed away. So R.I.P. to him. But Star Fox Zero was the first thing that actually got me interested in the Wii U, and it was actually part of the reason I got a Wii U. I'm not going to say I love the game. I definitely don't. I haven't even finished it, but that was the first time I really saw them do something that made this console stand out identity-wise, and it just came too late. It was 4 years too late.
Well, and they had so much 3DS support. That was what also hurt during that time too. As a Wii U owner, was that seeing all these great games coming to 3DS. And I had a 3DS. I could play the games, but it was like, why aren't you devoting these resources to giving us Wii U games? Instead of,
Yeah. Well, and I think to Alex's credit, when he's saying that like these people weren't there, he's really talking about the people that make videos like now that are like, oh, here's 5 good games on the Wii U. Like, see, it was pretty good. like yeah. When you collect all of them at once, it's not bad. But when you realize it's like a 6-year span.
Yeah, and I totally understand like waiting, like Teddy's perspective of the wait, but also like imagine being in my shoes, like getting the console, being so excited for this thing, and then just nothing, just absolutely nothing is happening, and you're just like, well, I guess I'm playing Skylanders and Legos right now, and there's nothing happening. But you brought up a good point though, Teddy. Is that I think during the Wii U though, Nintendo really learned how to connect with their audience. That direct that you brought up was a good example. The Nintendo Directs during that time, and I guess somewhat now, but especially during that time, were so fun and creative. The personalities at Nintendo, like Reggie, like Iwata, were like so fun to have on screen to interact with the fans. They had the Miiverse, which I was on the Miiverse constantly on my Wii U, just talking to other fans and stuff, getting into arguments. Some guy got into an argument with me whenever I said I drew a picture of Pac-Man, and I was like, yeah, Pac-Man for Smash, and he was like, Pac-Man will never be in Smash, you're an idiot. And he just kept, and I was like, dude, why are you like commenting on my Pac-Man picture? I was like, I'm just saying what I want, and you're just like coming on here like shooting me down. And then like a month later, Pac-Man got announced for Smash, and I went back to that post, and he had deleted everything. So it was fucking hilarious. But no, during that time, I think while their presence on the console and their presence in the market was bad, I think their appeal to fans and their connecting to fans is what kept them alive, because like they did a really good job with that.
I agree. I think the Direct is something of like it's almost a community event in a way, like where it's like everyone's just like, yo, did you see the Direct? And they come so spur of the moment too. There's no I think they're like 2 days before, hey, we're gonna do a Mario 35th anniversary, happy 35th to Mario. Like, whoa, okay. And we've been getting these rumors for months and stuff. It's got people speculating and stuff. It's kind of nice to see that they've kept that alive. I don't particularly get excited for like Sony press conferences or Microsoft. Like, I guess I'll catch like the headlines and stuff, but like it's not like a Direct. Even if the Direct is like, just a bunch of sucky, indie games, or they don't come with that. But wait, there's one more. At the end, it's still kind of nice to see them every so often.
Yeah, way more fun.
Dude, the other day Ubisoft had their Play It Forward presentation. And I usually tune in to like developers that I used to have some interest in whenever they do that kind of stuff. So I was watching it, and like I was like, okay, let's see who's live streaming it. Out of my like subscription feed, I think like 2 channels were live streaming this thing. Now, if Nintendo had a Direct, it'd be like every other channel would be live streaming this thing, and I think that's very indicative of like how Nintendo has connected with their audience.
It's something I see very few other companies do, or at least even maintain.
So what do you guys think that the legacy of the Wii U is at this point, or will be in the future when we look back on it?
Expensive! It's going to be expensive. I think give it 10 years, it's going to be expensive.
I still think like Stop Gap, Mud Gap, whatever you said, Half Gap, The Gap, great place to buy clothes.
Yeah.
Just Dance 2030.
I thought you were doing Tony Hawk. I thought you were clearing a gap.
I did a nose gap.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't call it a failed console. Even though it had failures and we call it a failure, I get some enjoyment in having it and playing it. And there's something kind of beautiful about it not being like the super modern console. I know at the time people said like Gen 6, Gen 7, and where's the Wii U? It's like somewhere in between. I actually kind of like that. It's less connected to like media and everything else and sharing, because we have all that stuff already. Maybe not on the Switch, maybe that would be nice, but the fact that it's like a console and games first and virtual console is focused, and I kind of appreciate that.
I think it has more to offer than the Xbox One.
You could argue that.
I mean, but you don't hear Microsoft fans being like, oh, it's the biggest Microsoft failure. They're just like, yeah, it plays Halo and Forza. So,
yeah,
so I would still take a Wii U over the Xbox One any day.
Where do you stand, Spence?
I see it as a failure, but I see it as a failure that they learned from, and so it's something that you just watch from the future and be like, oh, this is why the Switch is the way it is, is they learned about branding. They learned how to, like you said, connect with the audience a lot better. They learned how to give people what they want while also still innovating at the same time. And they still experiment with that with successes and fails, but I think they're just more successful with that with the Switch. It's I think one of my favorite games. Actually, my favorite game on the Wii U is such an indicative nature of what the Wii U is Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is a fantastic RPG that combines Shin Megami Tensei with Fire Emblem, and it's like it has all these amazing mechanics. It's like 60 hours long. It has a bunch of music in it. It was out before Persona 5, and it was like it fed the Persona 5, like if you're hungry for it, it gave you that. It did everything of that right. Nobody bought it because it's on the Wii U, and it just was a dead console essentially. So I think that's what it's going to be remembered for. Is there's gems on it that were now on the Switch, so you don't even have to worry about it. It's basically a shadow at this point.
Speaking of Shadow, did you guys play Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric?
No, I seem to have missed out on that one.
I bought a copy, guys. I for years I'd been like, fuck that, I'm not buying it. I finally bought a copy of Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric.
That game is a victim.
That game is a victim of a lot of things. I could talk for a while about the shitty development cycle that game had.
Show us on the Sonic. Show us on the tails. Which tail? Which tail did they pull?
I think I would not recommend the Wii U, but at the same time, if you're interested, there's stuff there. You know, it's not the worst console in the world. I think just in terms of Nintendo, a company that's been doing this for 30 years, you can't be like this. You can't make something like this and just be like, oh, it's a console. You know, it's like, you know, you've been in the game for this long, like you got to be on top of your game, or else, you know, obviously, like Spencer was alluding to, like, companies like Sony are gonna overshadow you big time.
Pardon, but did you say console? Did you say something about the Wii U being
A console?
Is it really a console?
Well, I can buy Mighty Number 9 on it.
Oh, then I guess not.
What?
All right, guys, let's go out on the Wii U wrap.
How certain this?
They call it Wii U, but it's more like a PU. When they get the next console, they can call it 3U.
It's got it.
I'm not sorry, though. One thing it could use is more Mario. And there might not be a lot of room for it, but at least Alex plays Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric.
The controller's got a screen. Luigi is green.
And half these games you can't get on Steam. When the console was announced, you might have had a temper, but at least you could have it like me, Alex Spencer. The button mappers. You can't get Turok and shoot up the Raptors.
The Wii U really needed a hero, but it never got one, not even from F-Zero.
Woo! And there was a huge void. One thing it could use is more Metroid.
Pikmin 3 is really fucking good.
It sold triple wood. Until it went to Switch. And that's when it scratched Spencer's itch. We!
You.
It's more like, we need you to buy my console. Or should I say, console?
Cancel.
Arr!
Hi, I'm Reggie. Would you like to play Call of Duty Ghosts on the Wii U? Of course.
No.
Nobody fucking wanted to do that.
But buy it now to support our console. Because I'm Reggie, and I work for Nintendo. And I need you to pay my child support.
Base child support. He hooked up.
Is that Reggie's goal the whole time?
He hooked up with the cooking mama.
Hi, I'm Reggie. And I'm here today to talk to you about our newest version of Cooking Mama.
It's cooking papa. It's called Cooking Papa U.
This game is designed to appeal to the aspiring fathers and gamers. Because we like the fathers and the gamers.
Use the touchscreen on the Wii U to cut the can of Spam.
Today's episode is brought to you by Spam. Eggs and cheese version. We actually have released the newest version of Spam, available on store shelves today
Yo!
and for the rest of
I
eternity.
love sodium. Spencer, do you have anything to add here?
I thought
Spencer has self-ejected. He's unleashed the parachute.
I thought we had a different sponsor.
Who's our sponsor?
We have a Spencer.
I thought we had a Mountain Dew sponsorship.
Well, we've been changing a lot lately.
We're trying to find the right one for
We
us.
had Armando Sinks for a little bit.
He didn't make an appearance today.
Well, Mountain Dew. I had a whole. I was gonna say that Mountain Dew is the fount of life, and make sure you do the brew that is the dew.
Get a do with your Wii U.
Yeah, but now I don't have to say all that because I guess we got a different sponsor halfway through.
Spam.
Well, if you guys have the Mountain Dew version of the Wii U, then you actually own a Wii Do. We do. Next intellectual discourse.
Wii U,
Join
Wii
us
U,
there.
Wii U, Wii U, Wii U.
Wii U, Wii U, Wii Wii, Wii, Wii.
Wii U, Wii U, Wii, Wii U, Wii U, Wii.
It's like, is this about we or is this about you? It's about both. It's about the gamers.
What the fuck is a Wii U?
It's like they got their pronouns mixed up. Us, you. The Usu. Nintendo Usu. Hi. I'm Reggie. I'm here today to talk to you about the Nintendo Usu.
Did you guys know that I put 200 hours into Smash Bros. On the Wii U?
The Nintendo Wii Usu is brought to you by us for you, the gamers.
Buy a Wii U so you can play Spectrobes Origins. All right,
What did you expect, Robes?
I'm ending the episode.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.